How are you doing?
How
It's good
you
to
doing?
see you. It's good to see you. I'm Sunny D.
And I'm Captain J. And we're the Pot Smoking Moms.
Hey, welcome back. We're so glad that you're here with us today. If you like our show, if you vibe with the vibes, rate, subscribe, share, be friends with us on all social medias while you still can.
And if it's your first time joining us, welcome. We're the Pot Smoking Moms, a safe space for moms to blaze and not feel judged. And we always start our show off with a little smoke sesh. So I think I'm ready for that.
Absolutely. We have been already kind of in the sesh with our friends and some of our patrons. We've been hanging out and talking.
So I'm going to relight my J that I have here of ice cream mints from Miami High Life.
I'm going to hit my bowl. I got some cake face.
Cake face. Cheers.
Cheers. Let us know what you're smoking.
Give us a comment and let us know what you're smoking on, or if you've tried these strains that we're smoking, if you enjoy them.
Or if there's one maybe out there that you suggest for us. You know, I always like, is there one strain that you would say maybe you caught one time that you really, really liked and you've never been able to find it again? Memorable? Any memorable ones?
I can't think of any off the top of my head right now. No.
I mean, I've talked about it before. I have one called Ghost of Jupiter that Fluent had put out a while ago. I think it was Freedom Town Holdings, and it was just so good. It was a little bit different from everything that we've tried in the Florida market. So it was that one strain that got away. Because here it's like there are some strains that you see reoccurring, like Marshmallow OG. I've been able to get that at True Leaves now regularly, and and every time I see that it's available, I'm like, oh, I grab it because I like that. But I've been smoking that from like One Plant back in the day and Sunnyside in them. And so whenever I see the strain, I'm like, okay, I know what to expect. And I like that. Because sometimes you pick up a strain just to try something. And I picked up a strain the other day. You know, that one strain, that one part of the strain that we all have. From our trip in Colorado, everyone had a firsthand experience with the terp or strain, whatever that is, that mandarin kind of flavor. And I got one like that, and I was like,
you knew immediately no.
I knew immediately no. And even my husband
I feel like one reliable one, I like to, when I see it on the menu and I don't really know what to go with, I don't recognize anything else, is runts.
Yeah,
whenever I see runts, I'm like, okay.
Anything that's like grape usually is pretty good. Anything that's like cake, I think.
Yeah, that's your cake face right now.
Cake, right? Cake
I
face.
do like a lot of ice cream.
Ice cream cake is great. Ice cream cake is great.
Yeah, and not just the actual ice cream cake, the strain.
Yeah. right. Everything. Ice cream cake, the lit thing for real, and the strain.
I love ice cream cake.
Yeah, Ron's
like the ice cream cake.
I know. Cookie Puss from Carvel is one of my favorite ice cream cakes of all time.
So
you're on the end of your tour. I was like actually here when we were smoking with everybody, but prior to starting the show, I was like, oh, this bitch is like showing off her tan over here. She's like all oiled up.
And I'm about to go work on my tan some more, going to the beach tomorrow because I did not get my fill of the beach on my cruise. To say that the cruise was kind of a disappointment. I mean, look.
I mean, the bar was low. Just because we've had conversations in the past. I mean, I'm a hater with the cruise thing. Because
how many cruises have you been on?
I've been on like 3.
Okay, yeah. I've gone on more
like
than
when I was
3.
younger, and even up to when I was an adult. And
the last time I went on was as an adult. Me and my husband went alone, and that was like a year or 2 before my son was born. So we're talking about 11, 12 years ago, right?
And it depends to what boat you go on. I also would say that too.
Yeah. The cruise line or whatever. Look, it was an old boat. I've never done it out of Tampa before.
Oh, you guys had to go out of Tampa?
Yeah, because my mom bought this trip as a family gift to everybody.
I forgot that they even
she lives in Tampa, so and we went to Mexico, so it makes sense to go out of Tampa because it's right there in the Gulf of Mexico. Boom, you're right there. So, but this bitch barrel fucked everything up. The Hurricane Barrel. Right before we're about to leave, Hurricane Barrel starts fucking forming and barreling straight towards Mexico.
Oh my God.
So like we're like preparing to get on the ship, and we don't know what's gonna happen.
Was this the same one that hit Texas? Is this the same? Okay, yeah, because
it hit Mexico first.
I saw a lot of people out there talking about there's even
they lost power. They lost power.
Tree fall on her house.
Yeah, I saw that. Sam can do. What was I gonna say?
Sorry.
Oh.
But
so we're about to leave on the cruise, and we know that this hurricane's going straight for Mexico, so we don't know what's going to happen, how they're going to change our itinerary, where they're going to reroute us. So off the bat, we're expecting them to do something, and then they tell us all they're doing is just switching the ports. We were supposed to go to Yucatan first, and then Cozumel after. So they switched it. So we went to Cozumel first, and then we're supposed to go Yucatan after. So, which kind of sucked. Because when we planned our excursions, we were doing this big epic excursion in Yucatan. We're going to go to Chichen Itza, the pyramids. We're going to go jump in cenotes. We're going to do all this stuff. There was going to be a full-on day of shit. So we're like, for Cozumel, we're just booking a beach club and we're just going to hang out. You know what I mean? Because it's not going to be much. So we end up going there first. We end up only getting to do the beach club because they cancel Yucatan the next day. We get back to our room from Cozumel.
So you don't even get to go to the second place you were supposed to hit up?
No, we weren't. We did not get to go because it was getting hit by a hurricane.
Did they like give you guys some money back?
No,
or something?
No money back.
That's it.
The only thing we got back were like the port taxes or some shit like that.
And COVID.
Yes, and that's like the cherry on top. And look, so that just means an extra day of being at fucking sea. It took us a day to just get over there. Bro. So the way back, they went extra slow. So it could take us 2 days to get back because we had an extra day at sea. So our 4th of July was in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico on a ship. Yeah. We were supposed to be at the beach club on the 4th of July.
And I just can't fathom just hanging out in the middle of the ocean, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, bro, I don't know. It
is pretty crazy looking in every direction, and all you see is ocean.
It's so
it's so beautiful. It is nerve-wracking,
but it's also
nerve-wracking. But it gets me real scared to get near that like rail. Like I won't.
Get
too close.
And now older, I don't know how I would feel about that. Especially like I still have young kids who I also will be terrified
for sure.
You know.
So yeah, that kind of ruined it. We didn't get we were mostly on the ship, and it was a small ship. So it was kind of lame in the sense that, but
sorry, bro.
It was still fun though. Mm-hmm. I still had a good time because I was hanging out with my brothers. I don't get to hang out with them very often. Yeah. And, you know, you're like on this little community for a few days. So, you know, what's funny is I was telling the patrons earlier when we were seshing that they do karaoke there, right? Obviously, there's karaoke every night.
You could bet on it.
And my brothers are huge on karaoke. They're like a karaoke obsessed.
I would have had so much fun with them. We love karaoke.
I know you love karaoke.
Yeah.
But my brother Johnny is a really good singer. Like he sings really good. So like the first night, of course, we all went to karaoke. And he sang like 2 songs. My brother sang like 2 songs. They sang like a duet, whatever. My mom fucking sang a song.
Cute.
And you know, so we leave that night with my brother being like a little mini celebrity of the ship. They'd be like, "Oh, Johnny, what's up? Little karaoke killer." You know, every time, everywhere we went, it was like, "Yo, it's Johnny. You're really good, man." Or like one lady was like, I was in the elevator by myself. She's like, "You're Johnny's wife?"
Oh my god!
And I'm like, "No, that's my brother." "Oh, he's a really good singer."
That's so funny. Oh my god! I hope like his ego's boosted.
He loves that shit.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, he loves that shit. But it was like annoying to him. He's like, "Bro, they really need to like do like an adult only karaoke because karaoke would only be like an hour to an hour and a half, and then like." If you didn't get there early to put your songs in, a bunch of kids would get their songs in. So you'd be like Frozen and all these like, you know, it's cute. But they should do like they should probably do an all ages one and an adult only one, you know?
Yeah, you could.
They should. So that's what he was complaining about. But there was this one little girl that sang so good. So she was like a little mini celebrity too. We're like, "What's up, Tegan?" We ran into each other at the beach club. And they're like,
the karaoke crew.
And then the one day we participated on the volleyball tournament. You know, me and my brothers were like, "Oh, let's play. Let's do it." We needed a team of 6 and there was 3 of us. So we got 3 other people to play with us. And one guy, his name was Andrew. He was like, "Yeah." Every time he'd see us, be like, "Team 6, what's up?" Like, was funny. It was fun.
Yeah,
we had a good time.
You have to, bro. You have to. That's the whole point of that too.
The food was mediocre, but it's still great to have almost always ice cream on hand.
You know, that 24-hour ice cream bar.
It's not 24 hours because now, back in the day, you used to be able to just go up and serve yourself at any time. Now it's only open during certain times and there's a person serving. They don't let people go up and.
Do they have that guy on the boat that's like, wash your hands?
No, but
everybody, you know
at the entrance of the buffet, there was always somebody there dancing, giving out like hand sanitizer to every person walking in.
Oh, yeah, huh?
Still got COVID.
Still got COVID.
The second to last night, Julia started feeling sick. That's such a
slap in the face, too, because I'm like, that's one of the shitty parts of that, too, is being so in close proximity with so many people. Everybody who has probably some kind of something.
What sucks is that I can't smoke weed like as I would want to. You know what I mean? Like, it sucks. You're by the pool and there's assholes smoking big fat cigars and they're allowed to have their cigars, you know, and stuff. But like, I know it's not right by the pool, but they do it by the windows close to the. Yeah. But still, like, why can they have their cigars and you can't just have a little quick J, right?
Yeah.
Because it's illegal. Still stigmatized.
Hey, but you know what?
At 7J,
one day, maybe one day there'll be a
420 friendly cruise.
420 cruise. Well, look,
we should make that happen.
But it does happen. Have you not seen like 311 has a cruise? And
311 has a cruise.
311 has a cruise, girl. Trust me.
What do you mean when they have a cruise? Is it like once a year kind of thing?
Yes, it's once a year. I swear, you could meet them, take pictures. They do shows on the cruise the whole time. They have comics like Doug Benson, who's a huge pot comic. He's one of the funniest comics. He goes on the super Jaime guy. Yeah, he goes on the boat. And I mean, whatever. That's kind of cool. And I'm sure people smoke plenty of they gotta be smoking weed.
This is the thing, is it like I never smelled anybody else smoking weed on that cruise. So we only would smoke like on deck 10 once a night when it was late, and there's hardly anybody out. So we're not being, obvious. Yeah. And I was just thinking how much fun we would have like on something like that.
See, but it would have
a group of us,
pot smoking mom cruise, but
420 friendly.
It would have to be 420.
I wonder how it is on the Margaritaville ones.
Yeah, those people gotta smoke weed,
right?
I don't know. Anyways, I'm glad that you did the best with what you had, and you just, you had fun despite the circumstances. Yeah, I hope that COVID is gone.
It's gone. I tested negative already.
Rapper's Delight was a strain in Denver. It's that Mandarin strain, that Mandarin taste.
So you went to that True Leaf event?
Yeah. So there's a concentrates event at the Funky Buddha. Oh, you were right there, buddy? It was pretty cool. It was the Funky Buddha, so I was like, yeah, I'll be there for sure. Mm-hmm. It was cool. Met a lot of the True Leaf crew and people who work for True Leaf. Really nice people. Talk to them. Gassed up pot smoking moms and like events so that they can hopefully sponsor something coming up. Maybe we could do something nice.
Yeah, we need to decide what we're gonna
do. Moms,
what are we gonna do, guys? Do you want another bud crawl? Do you want a karaoke event?
And I was talking to someone there about the bud crawl, and I was like, kind of like, just going like really talking about how the card thing is a barrier. We really have to make it cheap because people have to have their card in order to purchase. Mm-hmm. So whatever, we talked about the idea of rec passing, because obviously they were also had their whole yes on three shit, and that's the spiel now. Mm-hmm. And if that passes, like it would
be a lot easier to do bud crawls and those kind of events, and all sorts of events. Like look at the Cannabis Club. Like the fact that you could just give a pre-roll to the people that come, like you can't do that here.
Right, that's really nice. That would be a really nice thing if we have an event where we can, like, you and me can curate.
We could do a pool party,
and we can offer that as part of the experience.
Yeah, you get a goodie bag, you get your pre-roll, you get some gum, like maybe some edibles. A discount for your next visit to the dispensary or whatever.
It's not like we don't do that, all right. But
I'm just saying, like, you can't advertise that you're
right. You can't,
because it's not rec here; it's only medical.
Right. So, but anyways, it was interesting talking about concentrates, how they do them, or what they, what the process is. I mean, like there were chemists up there.
Show your little kit. You have your little kit?
It looks like a surgery kit.
You just pull this out. I was like, damn. Now you're gonna start doing dabs?
Well, they have, they give like stuff out. And I was like, there was a lot of, the demographic was interesting to me because it's a lot of older people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh, I mean, I thought like at least our age, right? At least a lot of people our age.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of people who were older than us, and there was a few younger people there too. But it was interesting. They were giving stuff out, and I'm always kind of hesitant to get stuff because like we have so much stuff.
I know.
And I'm just like, I don't want more fucking promotional shit, but sometimes
it's cool stuff.
So Modern Flower was one of the people who were there.
One of the vendors.
They're
one
like
of the brands.
One of the brands that does stuff there. They do the marshmallow OG.
Yeah,
which
they
has
do.
been pretty good. And then look at this.
Like, what are all these
Everything
things
is for the different dabs.
I know they're different dabs, but like,
and you can, I don't know. That's to help you.
What do we do with all those things?
I know. I was like, oh, scalpel. You could I could do some sort of surgery.
It looks like you're a dentist.
Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna scrape this stuff off your teeth. But whatever, this is pretty neat. And honestly, it does.
Now you're like, I want a dab.
I do want a dab. I want to get a Puffco, bro. I do want to get a Puffco because it is a different experience.
This talks a true leaf.
And they were like,
they sell them there, right? Don't they sell Puffcos in the dispensary?
They do have Puffcos. Yeah, but concentrates are nice, especially when
they taste flour. So good.
They taste so good.
This is the thing about concentrate. So you got to take it easy. Don't overdo it. I think, for me at least, because like that's when you venture into the realm of just like extremely high percentages.
Yeah, and that's what they were saying. They're high tolerance.
CHS, like I would never want to get CHS. Never.
I also feel that the cost of concentrates are so expensive that I would never be able to have enough for me to get to that place anyways, because concentrates to me are like a treat. It's not like an everyday thing.
Exactly.
But it would be nice because of the taste.
It is the effects. It is nice. It's nice.
And then it is a little extra. It's a little stronger. So yeah,
it's when you're partying.
You don't want to fucking smoke a whole blunt to the head, but you still kind of sometimes now.
But then there's some dabs that are like some good sativa dabs that you could take a dab and like clean your whole fucking house. You'll be like ready. So, did you hear in the local news about the first study done on tampons?
I'm on the TikToks a lot, and this has been coming up on a lot of my TikToks. Is the poison the tampons? But I mean, look, remember that there's another thing that goes back to the study of the Pampers with the babies, and like they don't
look at Johnson and Johnson's the talcum powder too. There's like, it's just a history of all these things end up having toxic something in it,
right?
And even the organic tampons that they tested had arsenic in it. Like arsenic? Are you crazy?
Well, I mean, wasn't there always a caution on the tampons that you can get toxic shock syndrome?
Yeah, there's always been that.
I mean, but that alone is kind of.
But that's more like because if you leave it in there too long, and then you can get sick.
Yeah, but
but you're not thinking that you're putting something with lead or high amounts of metal in it into your vagina where it could possibly go straight into your bloodstream.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen, it's like low amounts of lead and arsenic. It's like low amounts. It's under the like what's considered safe, right? Mm-hmm. But there's never been any testing on how it would be directly applied there. You know what I mean? Or if it's even going into our bodies at all.
Right.
There's been no further testing on that. This is just a testing on the actual tampons. But this just shows you, like, these companies don't do their due diligence. They don't do their due diligence. Yeah. They don't look further. They don't care that this is going to go in somebody's body.
But I also think that
think about all the 20-something years they're using tampons,
but they rarely. Whenever they do clinical trials, isn't that the norm? Is that they usually only do it on males, so we don't ever really get
it's never been tested.
We never get a lot of really good feedback on the way things work for women because they're never tested.
From the male perspective,
right?
Yeah.
Well, but I mean,
but this is just an example of how and that's when we did have there was no regulations in this industry. So like with the Chevron deferment going back, it's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
With less regulations on companies when it's coming to products and services and things that we use as people. They don't care. They only care about making the money.
Profits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I was like, I'm reading the news as I'm menstruating and have a tampon in. And I'm like, what the fuck?
You're like, yes.
Damn it. I go pull this shit out right now. Let me just free fucking bleed. What the hell?
You know, even the fact that those products are not subsidized by the government is just kind of fucking frustrating, because I don't want to have to be indebted to this whole, this whole thing, this product that I have to use for most of my entire life.
Yeah.
So,
But do you still use tampons, or do you actually use your cup?
I use my cup, and I use the pads, or the underwear.
I just got the underwear, which was nice.
It's cool. It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cup is a little bit of a curve. There's a learning curve.
I like the underwear because you're just kind of just free bleeding.
Yeah, I don't know. It's still kind of annoying sometimes to me too.
It's like a pad.
Yeah, it's true. The cup does have a learning curve, so there are certain moments where it's like, ugh. But once you get it,
I just feel like trying to get that in there in the right position.
Yeah, and then the suction,
and then pulling it out.
Then it has to get the suction in there, and then you having to break the seal. There's different ones now. There's like discs and stuff. At first, I was like, for the longest time, I was intrigued by when the Diva cup came out, and I was like, wow, how would that work? Would that be messy? Blah blah blah. But then more and more friends of mine got it. We actually, the other podcast I had, we interviewed a lady who's like, that's her whole thing, is period cups and all of that. And I tried a period cup, and I liked it. I mean, it was, at first I was a little terrified. It's like, well, how do I get this thing out of there now? But once you figure it out, it's cool, and it's a little bit more freeing than, having to have a pad and all that shit there.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is just more
shit.
More shit.
You gotta be reading. I don't know what do we use? Like anytime we go to use anything, like right now, for example, I have this great lotion and cream that I got in Rome, and I'm just like, we just have to start buying our stuff from other places.
You know what came up recently too? Pastas. Me and Robert were looking at pastas,
the quality of the noodles,
and we saw ones that were from Italy, and it was like 2 ingredients.
Yeah.
And then the stuff from America was like 5 ingredients.
A degree to read
why is that in there? Yeah. So I mean, you probably want to get imported products.
And I lost weight over there eating pasta and like all the time, and bread, because I didn't bloat the way I bloat here when I eat those things. It's just insane. But you sent me recently a little reel.
Yeah,
it was a clip from the
TikTok a lot lately. Surprise, surprise.
You sent that to me. I was like, yeah, bro, I saw that.
So we had talked to a friend of ours
it's not her that she was talking about.
But like that's when we first started talking about these teen mom girls getting into cannabis.
Yeah. Well, this is what's funny to me is that we had Cheyenne on the show. She had cannabis at an event where MTV was filming, and they did not capture any cannabis content except for that one little split scene where I saw the joint.
Whatever, which is
so weed's always been kind of covered up. Like they don't ever talk. And now all of a sudden, I mean,
it can.
It doesn't follow in the storyline.
They don't need to divulge that information. Whatever.
It's her. It's something that she enjoys. You know what I mean? She enough to have it at her bridal shower, but then they hide that. You know what I mean? Anyways, but then Janelle comes back. Janelle Evans, if you don't know, she was one of the original teen moms on Teen Mom, I think, too. And she's been off the show for a while now because she was married to a horrible man, a homophobe, and the show wanted nothing to do with him. So because of her marriage to him and the way he controlled her, she was removed from the show. She's now getting a divorce from him. So now, all of a sudden, she's back on the show. And the Teen Mom franchise has been struggling. So I feel like they're just like, they want everybody that's looking at that tea of her getting a divorce now trying to watch the show because now she's going to be on the show, right? Anyway, bro, she's talking about getting into the cannabis industry.
Yeah, talking to some lady who's already in it and trying to tell her about it and what she could do.
Yes, a lady that already owns a company with her family that helps establish. They basically help develop and make brands similar to, they do the genetics and the branding with like whoever wants to create a brand, basically. So she has a storefront and a grow, and they work with partners to collaborate and make brands that they sell in their store, and they're the ones that like create the genetics for the brand, for the strains of the brands. Kind of similar to what Flow Grown does.
Right, and that's the only way people can get here too, is link up with dispensaries, is be the brand that the dispensary features on their product line. Like,
yeah,
because what other way?
Man, she says that she came up with the idea because she's always smoked pot. It's always been something that's helped her with her mental health and stuff. And there's a viral clip. Everybody knows this clip where she's like, I have not smoked all day. I'm about to lose my fucking mind.
I'm about to flip out. Flip the fuck out.
That's what it is. Yeah. I'm about to flip the fuck out. And she's like, smoked what, Janelle? Her mom. She's like, weed, mom. I like to smoke about this time of the day.
What is she saying? The mom's like, oh, you need your fix.
Yeah, she's like, you strung out. She's like, oh God, you strung out on weed, Janelle, or something like that.
This fucking dumb lady.
I love Barb though. Everybody loves Barb.
Oh, that would be her name, Barb.
So anyways, yeah. So she wants to start a brand called About This Time of the Day, or This Time of the Day, or something like that, which is a great idea, you know? And it's like, it's so cool that, like, you know, just because they were on TV and they got a platform, they're able to easily like walk into the facility or with a brand, try to make a brand deal like that. Yeah. Can you imagine if we had a pot smoking moms?
I mean, at this point, like, I feel like I'm like, yo, at this point, we need to sell our own weed to make any kind of money here at all.
I know. Would you guys buy some pot smoking moms?
Or at least like a courier service, the pot smoking moms delivery or some shit, because like, really. What are we doing? How do we get in on this? Yeah, so, I know. Yeah. It's a complicated market. There's a lot of,
but she's not. Apparently, there's another teen mom also looking to get into this. So, like, this is gonna be. I mean, obviously, there's money to be made, and she even mentioned it. Moms are stigmatized for smoking pot. It's true. We need more moms positively representing out there. And now I guess MTV's ready to start kind of sharing that cannabis story.
I don't know. Yeah.
Let's see where this goes. Like, I don't know where this is going to go. We'll see what's going to happen. So are we going to any cannabis events?
I feel like, yeah. What cannabis events we can go to?
Tell us what events you guys are going to, guys.
Florida Cannabis Festival.
I want to go to that one. The one up in Mount Dora. Yeah.
Mount Dora. And then our friends Potlucks.
Canna Feast
is in, I think, like November, right?
I think December, they're November? Like really close to each other, those two. Oh, yeah. Like those two events. Like
we can't do more than one thing in a month. That's like, wow. No, just for I don't know. Yeah, but we do need to hit up an event. It's been a minute. We haven't gone to cannabis events. That's what I was talking to people at this Truly thing, at this concentrates. Conversation.
We should do an event. What do we want? What do you guys want us to do?
It's been a minute since we like go to events and stuff.
I want to do like,
I'd like to do our own event, which is kind of like maybe like,
I like the idea of either like an outdoor movie night. Outdoor movie night. Hot now though, but an outdoor movie night or a pool party, or wouldn't it be nice to do a beach party if we could get a place on the beach or waterfront?
That tastes delicious.
I don't know. There's so many possibilities.
The possibilities. If you guys have a cannabis event and you recommend that we go to it, please hit us up in the DMs. Let us know. We'd love to hear your feedback. Give us some good cannabis event ideas, and we will meet you there.
Before we move on to our favorite segment, News Nugs, we want to give a shout out to our patrons. Thank you so much. We can't do this show without you. Quite literally, you guys help finance it.
You guys rock.
Thank you so much.
If you're looking for an easy way to support the podcast, hey, you can rate, review, share, comment, any of those things, push our content, and we love hearing from you, and we love seeing you light up our social medias. So go do that. Before we go into News Nugs, I did want to bring up the fact, because I feel like we did the whole Patrick Swayze thing, and we wanted to like do a Patrick Swayze night, and we had talked about
Crazy for Swayze.
Crazy for Swayze, right? And we had done I had watched Roadhouse, and I had done a whole thing where we reviewed Roadhouse. Well, me and my husband got to watch Roadhouse, the Jake Gyllenahaal.
Okay.
And it was way worse than the one from the 80s. It was way worse.
Oh my God. That's
the one from
bad.
the 80s at least was entertaining because it was like laughably bad, and it was the 80s, so there was some sort of epicness to it. But these people tried to pretty much do the same movie where you're just like, there's parts of that movie that didn't even really work in the first movie. You know, you see Jake Gyllenhaal, he's shirtless for most of the movie.
That's good.
Yeah, right. That's the driving factor really for watching it. And then the Conor McGregor, whatever, the fighter guy. Cause like I don't know, he's got a nice body too, but he is fucking wacko. And you could tell like this is not just the character he plays. Like you could tell like they were like, oh, this guy's a terrible actor, but he's a wacko. So let's just have him be wacko on the movie. And the whole basis for his character was ridiculous. There was extra characters in there that didn't need to be in there. It was just like
hot mess.
It was like a 48-hour film project. It was like somebody here decided to film a movie in the weekends. And it was just kind of weird and forced and quite terrible. So if you're in the mood to watch a movie and you're thinking maybe Roadhouse, because
don't watch it.
Like I'll put it. You could put it you could mute it if you really want to see Jake Gyllenhaal and whatever. That's fine. You could do that. Just mute it in the background. But like really, for substance, don't let that shit take up any space in your brain. It's pretty ridiculous.
That's the one thing we did on the cruise is there's movies.
Oh yeah.
On the they play movies by the pool.
Any good ones?
We watched that movie King Arthur or something like that, or Arthur the King. It's with Mark Wahlberg, and he's an adventure racer, and they like cross country race in like very dangerous like jungles and shit like that.
Really? I've never.
And he and his team are doing it, and they encounter a stray dog, and the dog becomes part of the team, and then like it's like a whole dog.
I'm like, oh, just when
it's a dog story.
Like it's a dog story.
It's like a man meets dog like Bond kind of story. It's a true story. It's based on a true story.
I did not think that was gonna be like, and then they find a dog. I'm like, Marky Mark drives a fast car, and then he finds a dog, and then it's
not a car. It's running racing.
Oh, okay.
It's like racing. Yeah, they have to like climb. They have to like swim.
I don't know. I thought for some reason
they have to like row. They don't
racing.
swim. I think they row.
Oh, okay.
They do like a bunch of like, and it's like 400 and something miles.
It's a family movie?
Yes, for sure. But I was terrified the whole time. Oh, spoiler alert if you're going to see this movie. But I was terrified the whole time. Or is the dog going to die? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
like,
you're
like, right. Whenever you see a dog movie, you're like, you're taking a risk.
Right.
At the end of that movie, the dog's going to die and you're going to be fucking heartbroken.
That's true. Or they could do the dog killing at the beginning of the movie like John Wick, because that fucking threw me for a loop. I was like, oh my God. But
every kill, therefore, was justified in the name of that fucking puppy.
Right. At the beginning, I was like, I don't think I want to watch this movie anymore. And then I was like, oh,
vengeance for the puppy.
I want to watch this movie. That's the whole point. Now we're going to fuck it up, All
right. Well, wow. Major tangent there.
Yeah. Sorry. I just wanted to throw that in there.
All right, I think we're ready to go.
So, because I know a lot of viewers out there were like, "Oh, I wonder if they're ever gonna talk about Roadhouse again," So I just wanted to make sure we got that covered.
Put something in the comments if you're waiting for that Roadhouse review.
Yeah, shit all over me in the comments, please. I beg of you, do something in the comments. Anyways,
basically, it's garbage except for he has his shirt off half the time.
It's garbage except for yeah. And then the lady he falls in love with. She's kind of hot.
Let's not go back in. Let's not go back in.
With what?
With bated breath. See? Lolo was waiting with bated breath for the review.
Yeah, exactly. I know you guys needed it.
If you're wondering, if we're looking at a comment from our patrons who are watching in the background right now.
Yeah, on the edge of their seats for that one.
All right, really. All right, Jesse, let's go into News
Nugs.
News Nugs, where we get high and read the news to you. All right, guys. Our first story on deck is House lawmakers vote to block federal marijuana rescheduling. So the House Appropriations Committee on Tuesday approved legislation to block the Biden administration's ongoing efforts to reschedule marijuana and ease restrictions on the drug under federal law. The Republican-led panel approved an amendment to a funding bill that blocks the Department of Justice from acting on the rescheduling plan, which is currently in the midst of a rule-making process to move cannabis from Schedule 1 of the Controlled Substances Act to a less restrictive Schedule 3. In October 2022, Joe Biden called on his administration to initiate a review of the federal government's prohibition on marijuana. Subsequently, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services formally recommended that cannabis be rescheduled under the CSA in August of 2023. The recommendation was based on a review of the science behind the medicinal use of cannabis that supported the change to Schedule 3, a classification that includes drugs such as Tylenol with codeine and testosterone.
Which, can I say this before you continue? This is something that I also talked about at this event. Mm-hmm. To me, it's fucked up that we have this on the market, even if it's medicinal, and there's no research backing any of it. There's no research put into not much it.
Yeah,
right. Like, what are we doing here? I get you want to wait till it's federally legal, but at the same time, like, you're already fucking selling people products. Like, we need to know what the research is.
Mm-hmm. In January, a federal review of cannabis research by HHS determined that marijuana is eligible for less strict classification under federal drug laws. In the review, researchers with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, determined that credible evidence shows that marijuana has legitimate medicinal uses and fits the criteria for rescheduling under the CSA. 4 months later, the DEA indicated that it would approve the effort to remove marijuana from Schedule 1, a category reserved for drugs with no accepted medical value and a high potential for abuse, and place it under Schedule 3. A proposed rule to implement the change is now in a 60-day public comment period.
Amendment blocks marijuana rescheduling. That process could be stopped in its tracks, however, with Tuesday's approval of a Commerce, Justice, Science, and related agencies funding bill by the House Appropriations Committee. Under an amendment approved by the committee, the Department of Justice would be blocked from spending federal funds to reschedule or deschedule marijuana under the CSA amendment. Democratic Rep. Rosa DeLauro introduced an amendment to remove the provisions to block rescheduling and other unrelated sections of the bill, but the committee defeated the proposal by a vote of 20 to 30, according to a report from cannabis news source Marijuana Moment. The GOP-led attempt to prevent the reclassification of marijuana would be a blow to the regulated cannabis industry, which, if rescheduling succeeds, would no longer be subject to provisions of the tax code that deny standard business deductions for companies that sell Schedule 1 substances. David Craig, Chief Marketing Officer of Missouri licensed cannabis company Illicit Gardens, characterized the House Appropriations Committee's approval of the amendment as a disappointing move.
Disappointing indeed.
Blocking cannabis rescheduling is a significant misstep because it hinders vital research and maintains an outdated and punitive approach to a substance that has proven benefits, Craig writes in an email. We've seen countless states adopt cannabis programs with significant public support, and federal scheduling remains out of sync with that reality. This decision represents a missed opportunity to modernize cannabis policy in a way that aligns with both current scientific understanding and the will of many states and their citizens.
So, committee rejects bid to allow state-level recreational weed. Oh my goodness. So the committee also rejected an amendment from California Democratic Representative Barbara Lee, co-chair of the Congressional Cannabis Caucus, that would have prohibited the Justice Department from spending its resources to interfere in state or tribal regulated marijuana programs, including those that legalize recreational cannabis. This amendment prevents the federal government from imposing its antiquated cannabis regulations on states, and it's time that the federal government keep with the times and stop hindering progress, said Lee. Rep. David Joyce, a Republican from Ohio, who also co-chairs a Congressional Cannabis Caucus, was the only GOP member of the committee to speak in favor of Lee's amendment.
We should be empowering states to regulate the product how they see fit, and this amendment would help just do that, he said. The disparity between state and federal policies have created a loophole that has allowed illicit operators to thrive and jeopardize public safety. It's time to close the loophole and make sure products are safe and out of the hands of youth. Pennsylvania Rep. Matt Cartwright, the ranking Democrat on the CJS Appropriations Subcommittee, also called on his fellow lawmakers to back Lee's amendment, saying that the proposal is about aligning law enforcement between state and federal entities. The funding bill remains language to block the Department of Justice from interfering in state legal medical marijuana programs that has been included in the legislation for a decade. However, the committee added a new provision that permits federal law enforcement agencies to enforce a federal law that increases penalties for distributing marijuana within 1,000 feet of an elementary or vocational school, college, public housing, or playground.
I mean, who's doing that? Like, who's got a dispensary within 1,000 feet? Like, that's not even a thing, I don't think, in most places. This is stupid.
This is stupid.
This is some blocking. They're just trying to block any progress that's being made, even though rescheduling is stupid in itself. It should just be descheduled. So this is a more fun story, I guess.
They love beating around the bush, though, don't they?
They do.
I have a feeling if we look up the origin of beating around the bush,
it's nice. Everything's bad. Everything's racist.
Yeah,
sexist,
everything is racist.
Everything is especially racist.
Like,
I wouldn't be surprised if it is.
We're gonna have to start making up new sayings, you guys.
Even what is bated breath? Everything. I'm like questioning it.
Right.
Anyways, Las Vegas. This is the place to go, right? So Las Vegas casinos would be smart to consider legal marijuana opportunities, former top Nevada cannabis official says. This is an op-ed. All right, this makes sense, right? Like, you know how when you go to the casino and as long as you're gambling and as long as you're in the casino, they give you free alcohol.
Yeah, can that be like? I've heard.
They do. They bring. You've never had that? How often have you gambled in Vegas?
I've never been to Vegas. That's why I'm saying I've heard that that's a thing, but I can't.
It is a thing.
You know,
they come up to you and you have to tip them. You'll tip them or whatever, and the drinks.
You can order anything, and they bring you free drinks?
I don't know. I'm not a big drinker, but it is a thing. Like there, I don't know if that's changed, but I remember the last time I was in Vegas, it was a thing. Right. Even if you're playing slots. So the Justice Department made headlines when it took the unprecedented step of moving forward with removing cannabis from Schedule 1 of the Controlled Substances Act. Well, we'll see if that's gonna happen.
Why do they always start like that when it's like, they just said it, but it's like then they're just gonna be
where it was listed alongside heroin, ecstasy, and peyote, and reclassifying it to Schedule 3, a category reserved for substances with low abuse potential and accepted
heroin,
medical
ecstasy,
benefits.
And peyote. Wow.
It's the party menu.
Yeah, here.
So this, by all accounts, one of the most significant policy advancements for legal cannabis since states first began to legalize it for adult use in 2014. And while the rescheduling of cannabis does not make it federally legal, it does send yet another significant signal affirming cannabis's normalization and status, not only as a legitimate industry, but also one that is viewed as such by the highest levels of the federal government. Given the significant development, should Nevada's gaming industry take this opportunity to reconsider its prohibitionist stance on engaging with the legal cannabis industry? Is this a chance to lead and mold a new market segment that is clearly in demand and sought by the newest generation of tourists and travelers? Listen to me, Linda. Okay? Fucking casinos reek of tobacco smoke. because you can smoke cigarettes in there. So why the fuck can I not smoke weed?
Because then it's just gonna smell like weed.
I would rather smell the weed. Okay, look, it would obviously be certain designated areas, I would think, for the cannabis consumption. That's what I would assume.
Nevada Gaming set its policy in 2018, shortly after the state voted to legalize cannabis for adult use, basing its decision on very real concerns both at a state and federal level. A significant portion of that policy was based on the realities of the legal cannabis markets at the time, which operated in the shadow of unclear federal guidance and enforcement. The hesitancy was justified, particularly in the light of the Nevada gaming industry's storied past. However, many of those concerns have been mitigated, not only by the natural evolution of the industry, but also because of successful regulation of cannabis markets by individual states, just like we've seen in Nevada. I'd like to try Nevada weed. The concerns have all but faded, just as society's acceptance and interest in cannabis continues to grow. According to a recent Gallup poll, the percentage of U.S. adults who consume marijuana has more than doubled in the previous decade, increasing from 7% in 2013 to 17% in 2023. During the same time period, the percentage of those who said they had tried it at least once increased from 38% to 50%. The majority of cannabis users within that group are between the ages of 18 and 34, and more than 25% reporting frequent usage.
In Las Vegas, a city that attracts visitors from across the world and provides the kind of tailored experiences that strive to keep generations of travelers coming back, major resorts and casinos do not offer cannabis products or experiences and strictly prohibit their possession and use on property. I kind of did a little bit. But consider this while I was
always incriminating yourself.
But consider this. According to a recent Forbes article, a 2020 nationwide poll by market research firm MMGY Travel Intelligence revealed that nearly 18% of American leisure travelers are interested in cannabis-related vacation activities. Duh. If we restrict the poll samples to adults over 21 who consume cannabis and have an annual family income of $50,000 or more, the figure increases to 62%. Concurrently, gaming establishments across the world are grappling with how to attract the new generation of gamblers who are much more interested in internet gaming and online sports betting back to the casino floor. When looking at the demographics of online gambling, it's the same 18 to 34-year-old age group that makes up a large segment, with over 30% owning an online sports betting account. I feel like, yeah, that's how it is. Everybody does the online betting stuff now.
Nobody goes to casinos.
Casinos like old people thing.
And I hate seeing these commercials for like the Hard Rock app and shit like that, because I'm like, they're just like, encouraging people to fucking do this shit.
So embracing cannabis does not mean unleashing clouds of marijuana smoke throughout the hotel and casino. Cannabis products outside of traditional joints and smokable flower have evolved significantly since the start of the state legalization. The cannabis-infused beverage category specifically has seen exponential growth recently. So that makes sense. Cannabis cocktails. Instead of getting drinks, alcoholic drinks, you can get cannabis-infused drinks. So as younger generations are ditching alcohol in record numbers and seeking other adult alternatives to enjoy in a social setting.
In fact, recent research by Heineken 0.0, the fuck is that? Shows that Gen Z alcohol consumption has decreased by 25% in the last 4 years. Simply embracing low-dose cannabis-infused beverages could be a huge opportunity to meet new consumer demand and recapture any lost revenue from non-alcoholic drinkers. What we also know, and what is clear just by walking down Las Vegas Boulevard, is that consumers are going to make a cannabis a part of their experience either way.
Yep.
The biggest players on the strip, resorts and casinos where consumption is already taking place, are the ones missing out on the capturing of this revenue. You don't need to be a cannabis advocate to see the opportunities and obvious interplay between these two markets. Nevada gaming establishments will be smart to begin revisiting their concerns, investing in their proper infrastructure, and positioning themselves to be leaders in this burgeoning marketplace. Yo, in September, there's like a really good concert, a festival, 2-day festival that's happening in Vegas.
What is it called? Who's gonna be there?
It's like everybody we love is gonna be there. But it's not too expensive either. And I was just like, ugh, another idea to go out to Vegas. But it's like during the week, I think. I don't know. Anyways, it's like Jungle's gonna be there.
Of course. Jungle's everywhere this year. They're going to all the festivals.
And they're really making their presence known. Those people are blowing up.
But I already got tickets to see Jungle in October here in Miami.
I know. But I don't. Even though I'm like, man, there's a lot of the same people going out there too from that concert. Whatever.
And this one's right here. I don't gotta travel anywhere.
I know.
All right, so this is a really crazy story. Like, what would you do if this happened to you? Would you call the cops like this person? Like, it is a lot to just show up on your front door. So anyway, Colorado homeowner finds 7 pounds of pot edibles on their porch after UPS account gets hacked.
That part about UPS account gets hacked sounds shady.
Basically, their UPS account got hacked and somebody was using it and something got returned to their house.
Oh.
So,
so we don't even have to read the whole story.
Colorado resident randomly received an edible stash at their doorstep, prompting them to call law enforcement. Would you?
I'd be like, there's 6 pounds here. I don't know where this 6 pounds of edibles came from. You guys might want to come and get these.
Maybe it wasn't 7. Maybe it was 10.
Yeah, right. Which I would like. Come on, yeah. I'd be like, good.
According to,
I don't know where the other 7 went.
According to local police, like they look it up, the UPS order. According to when they dropped off the order, it was actually a 14-pound box.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, I was only here for half of that. I don't know what happened to the other half. Somebody must have stolen it off my lawn. I don't know.
According to local police department, officers responded to a home in Lakewood, about 8 miles from Denver, on Monday after receiving a report of fraud. Police said the victim informed them that their UPS account had been hacked and was being used to ship large packages. The perpetrator was identified as Mr. Scott of Georgia.
Mr. Michael Scott.
A package that was returned to the victim's residence had 7 pounds of marijuana edibles inside. It included coconut cake, cotton candy, bubble gum, and berry cherry flavored dipping dots. So, to Mr. Scott in Georgia, we have your package here at the PD, Lakewood Police said. According to the UPS website, the shipping service said it has right to dispose of any shipment containing marijuana, hemp, or hemp products tendered for shipment, which shippers are prohibited from shipping, which UPS is not authorized to accept, which UPS states that it will not accept, or which UPS has a right to refuse.
I mean, yeah, obviously.
UPS.
The Lakewood police is like, yeah, here it is. We're taking a picture with 5 pounds that we found. That this guy's. The rats are going to eat the rest of the fucking edibles at the fucking police station.
The rat station.
Police station. Other police departments found marijuana inside packages. In May, authorities in Arkansas stopped a package that contained 10 pounds of weed from being shipped to a residence in Paragould. Kate reported.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that means. They decided to leave it on the suspect's front porch, and after the suspect put it in his car, he was arrested. Agents found firearms and other drug paraphernalia when they conducted a search of his car and home, according to the report. Last September, a police department in North Carolina was given a package that was supposed to be delivered to a home. WITN reported it also contained 10 pounds of marijuana. Casually, they're like, oh, it also had 10 pounds. In a post online, the department urged the individual who thought it was a good idea to utilize UPS to mail your 10 pounds and 4 ounces of marijuana. Because they always want to
pick
it
up from the station for the outlet.
Yeah, they always want to be funny.
Come pick it up. They would be pretty dumb to just go pick that up.
People bold though.
But I feel like most people actually use USPS.
Here we go with talking too much over here. If I will never ever like
USPS
plan a murder with you because you'll be like
is the largest plug in the country and they don't even know it.
They don't even know it. Hey, what are you doing listening to us? Go watch us on YouTube,
right?
Silly.
Yeah, we need to get to 1,000 subscriber guys. We're
like
so close. We're almost
about
about to break 900.
It's such a weird.
And we just need 105 of you more to come and push us over 1,000.
Just make up a couple fake accounts. Come over there and hit that
No,
subscribe.
there's
like,
people listening
button.
right now that never have watched us on YouTube. There are. I know you. I'm talking to you. You know who you are.
We need a gimmick.
A gimmick?
Yeah, like a little.
We got to dress up.
We got to dress
themes?
Up. No, like well, we could do that too. If we had any like, energy left after parenting and working 80-hour jobs. But no, like a little, like a saying, a catchphrase, like, oh, you know what to do. I don't know. Follow and subscribe sounds silly. We got to come up with something.
All right, we'll come up with something. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
But before that, we got to go to our next segment.
I love you, Miami.
I love you, Miami.
We love you, Miami.
Our segment on Florida news. Florida
we
be
love
crazy,
you,
y'all.
Catherine Jordan.
Yeah, this is a sad story. A little, let's give a little R.I.P. Rest in power. Catherine Jordan, a medical cannabis advocate, dies in Manatee County on the 4th of July in her home. So, medical cannabis advocate Catherine E. Jordan died in her home in Parrish at the age of 74. Decade of Jordan's advocacy is a big reason why Floridians can legally smoke cannabis for medical purposes. News of her death was made public by the Florida Cannabis Action Network, a statewide nonprofit that aims to end cannabis prohibition. Jordan was diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Did I say that right? Yeah, ALS, known as ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, when she was in her 30s. She smoked cannabis for decades to alleviate her symptoms and accredited cannabis for her long life after her diagnosis. Over the years, she became an outspoken advocate for medical cannabis. She co-founded the Florida Cannabis Action Network and served as a past president of the organization. Jordan was a plaintiff in a lawsuit filed when Florida lawmakers subverted the will of voters who elected to legalize medical cannabis in 2016 by outlawing cannabis smoking in 2017. She and other plaintiffs won the legal battle, and despite state appeal, Florida lawmakers approved a bill that legalized smoking of medical cannabis in 2019 while under pressure from Governor Ron DeSantis. She left a lasting memory here, her son and caretaker John Jordan said in a video posted on social media. It is overwhelming to see how much support she actually had, how many memories she's made, and how many hearts she touched.
We traveled from California back to Key West in our adventures, and just about every state we stopped at, people knew her name in the cannabis movement, he said. That's when I realized how many hearts she's touched. A file photo of the late Kathy Jordan smoking legal marijuana. Oh, these are the pictures we have
the
up
picture.
Here. Mm-hmm. Her death came on a day when many fellow advocates, including members of the Florida Cannabis Action Network, organized to advocate for voter approval of a new amendment to the Florida Constitution that would legalize recreational cannabis. Members of the organization could not be reached for comment. Voters who head to the polls in this November to decide the fate of the measure known as Amendment 3, the effort requires approval by 60% of the voters to move forward. Even at the end, she was arguing with the doctor about the benefits of cannabis, Jordan said in the video. The doctor really couldn't go against what she said because even he was impressed she survived with ALS.
Wow. Well, thank you so much to Catherine Jordan. We wouldn't be where we are here in the state of Florida as far as cannabis reform without advocates like her. So rest in power. And our next Florida story, in an uphill fight to defeat abortion marijuana measures, DeSantis throws around bold claims.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Let's see what this guy's got to say now. So with polls showing ballot measures restoring abortion rights in Florida and legalizing recreational marijuana supported by most voters, Governor Ron DeSantis is facing an uphill fight in his campaign to defeat them this fall. The Republican governor has just a trickle of the torrent of money he's looking to raise for his Florida Freedom Fund, a political committee he intends to weaponize against the proposals, which defy the hard right direction in which he moved the state. But until more money arrives, DeSantis is mostly on his own. In a not so subtle strategy intended to sow doubt among voters, DeSantis has been throwing around bold claims about what the measures will do.
DeSantis casts dystopian view of future with amendments. The governor repeatedly has warned that Florida will reek of marijuana, and in Tampa last month tossed out the idea that people will be able to bring 20 marijuana joints to elementary schools if Amendment 3 is approved by voters.
20 marijuana joints to elementary schools. Like where is that coming from?
Nothing.
And why would anybody
shit.
What is that?
He's talking shit for people to be like, oh no, 20 marijuana joints
in elementary schools.
Even if you have no interest, marijuana will have interest in you, DeSantis said.
Talk about reefer madness.
On Amendment 4, but I feel like he has money in this whatever.
In the industry?
Yeah, I feel like he definitely plays the game, bro, for sure. But anyway, and then he plays this whole persona of like, whatever. On amendment, but he knows in the background he's gonna. Oh, he's
probably gonna vote yes. He's probably gonna vote yes.
Like, whatever, it's a game to him. On Amendment 4, instead of the measured goals of restoring Florida abortion laws to where they were almost 50 years, the measure is deceptive, very, very extreme, DeSantis has said. In the latest attack, opponents are claiming Florida's constitutional amendment protecting pregnant pigs approved by what?
Keep reading.
In the latest attack, opponents are claiming Florida's constitutional amendment protecting pregnant pigs approved by voters 24 years ago is more clearly defined than the ballot proposal intended to return abortion access up to about 24 weeks of pregnancy, not the 6-week limit signed into law by DeSantis. With proposed constitutional amendments needing approval from at least 60% of voters to become law, DeSantis doesn't have to convince a majority to vote. No. Instead, convincing just a critical 40% of voters to reject the amendments will spell victory for the Republican governor, who, along with restricting abortion, also has drawn the line at allowing the public access only to medical marijuana in the state.
I mean, polls have shown time and time again that there's support for both abortion rights.
Yeah, I believe both of them will pass. I mean,
marijuana, recreational marijuana.
Like, people don't need to wear their decisions out on their sleeves. I don't
understand what's the point of him arguing against it. Like, what's the fucking point? It's just to try to get headline grabs and be like, look at me, I'm anti this.
He's pandering to his
fascism.
Pandering to his audience, who's already fanatical.
So voters like them, polls show. But a Fox News poll last month showed that 69% support the abortion rights measure and 66% are in favor of legalizing recreational marijuana. If DeSantis can't turn those numbers around and get voters to side with him, it will prove a significant setback heading into his final 2 years as governor. During the bill signings and other recent official stops, DeSantis has gone off topic to run down the proposal. The governor's effort is all about persuasion, stopping at nothing. This is how Madison Avenue works, said Aubrey Jewett, a political scientist at the University of Central Florida who monitored Florida ballot amendments for the past 3 decades. You don't have to persuade everybody, but there are plenty of people who haven't really made up their minds. They don't follow politics. And if DeSantis says something enough times, maybe they'll listen to him, he said. That's why he's just fucking repeating it over and over and over again. Yeah, I know there's people dumb enough that will just vote on those things just because he says it over and over and over again, and then they like him. So his Freedom Fund, launched last month, has raised only $121,400 through the end of June. $100,000 of it coming from a Central Florida company, POB Ventures, which grows hemp and is CBD dispensary company. It may be an early sign of an alliance between DeSantis and the hemp industry to defeat Amendment 4.
You see?
Why Amendment 4? Amendment 4 is the abortion one. Amendment 3 is the weed one. I think is that a typo?
Is that a typo? That sounds kind of like a typo.
So Pat O'Brien, the company's authorized representative,
even though they're against both, so it could be.
But why would they be against abortion?
Right, yeah.
Who?
The hemp industry? Like
what? Pat O'Brien, the company's authorized representative in documents filed with the state, did not immediately return phone calls or texts with questions about the contribution. But the hemp industry, though, through its association, Florida Healthy Alternatives, has said it will help the Florida Republican Party raise funds to fight the marijuana measure. See the marijuana measure. Both Florida GOP Chair Evan Power and the party's executive director, Bill Helmick, are registered as lobbyists for the Florida Healthy Alternatives.
DeSantis fundraising is slow, but both sides,
because nobody wants to give money to stop weed and abortion access, like who,
or even give money to these rich fuckers anymore. Like, whatever. DeSantis funds, right. The governor's allies and those promoting the ballot measures say they expect DeSantis to raise enough cash to mount a vigorous opposition campaign by the time voters become. Jack is like, I'm going to be part of this.
He just busted
busted right through. The Florida Republican Party also has come out against the abortion measure.
Surprise.
A move sure to help the governor indulge